So, episode 14 of part 4 actually introduced my favorite character. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love Joseph. He will always be my all time favorite character in JoJo. But Rohan himself, he is definitely my guy for part 4. I freaking love this dude, and I am so glad that he is finally being introduced into the story. And so we see now that when the episode starts off, we have Koichi walking to school, and we see Hazamada, who was now out of the hospital. He was actually walking to school as well. And so for some reason, I'm not really sure why, because when we saw Hazamaza as a villain, like his physique was definitely looking, like a lot different compared to how he looks now. Like now he is very similar to like Koichi, like appearance wise, where both of them are pretty much like the same height, but Hazamada is a little bit taller, and so that right there might throw off some people because it does seem like one heck of a change to make, especially after seeing him look a bit menacing, especially with his stand. But right now, both of them were talking, and we learned now how he wasn't fully healed, but he was definitely well enough to be released and going to school, because we learned now that he actually got released like 2 days ago. And so pretty much while they were talking, we see now that Hazamada actually brings up Koichi, if he likes manga, because apparently there's this really popular artist named Rohan Kishibe, who apparently, lives in the city. And so right now we learn how Hazamada actually, heard two villagers talking about that. And so right now he has found out where he lived. And so apparently his work, or at least his like popular work that he's making right now, is called Pink Dark Boy. Now that right there might be, like a weird title, but this series apparently is pretty popular, and we did see that both Koichi and Hazamada, like they were like some huge fans, and so we see them now like going to his home. Oh, and it was funny to see that even though Hazamada is acting, rather friendly to Koichi, he still has not forgiven Josuke, because at first he was saying, "Where's that bastard?" But then he changed it and used his name. And so we learned now how that. So we learned that the invisible baby that they found last week, that right there is still relevant in the story. And we see now that the baby herself actually went up to Joseph. So that right there is nice. But if he's not around, then she will start making things around her become invisible. And that right there can be, really dangerous. And so right now they're on the hunt for a mother, and of course, we're all hoping that they can find her, because obviously it does seem kind of weird that her mother is like not around. And so now we see that when they go to the manga artist's house, both of them were like kind of nervous, but especially Hazamada, because he would not even go to the door to like ring the doorbell, but instead he was using his older status to make Koichi do it. But we see now that before he can even do that, we have Rohan coming to the door, like opening and grabbing his hand. And so right now he was thinking that, these two might be pranksters. And so of course he was like kind of on the fence here about whether or not their intentions. But they were fans and they wanted autographs. And so right now, even though he was like giving off a very like creepy aura, especially with the way he was animated, like when he opened the door and we saw him grabbing like Koichi's arm, and we see his face, that right there was just screaming creeper. And so right now we see that eventually he did warm up, but you can tell that like he was obviously up to something. And so right now he invites them in, and we even see him, giving them a tour of his studio. And so right now they were like pretty much coming into his world, because this right here is what he does day in and day out. And so right now we see that apparently his family, they are from S City, but he could not work there. And we even see that this guy, he is so dedicated to his job that he can actually finish a manuscript or his pages, because he does draw everything. He can finish that in 4 days. It did not take this guy a week to like finish a chapter, because he does everything by himself. And not to mention, if it has any color pages, that right there, like takes an extra day. So it takes him 4 to 5 days per chapter. And that right there is insane because he does this week by week. Because if you read manga, then you know that a lot of these artists, they actually don't take breaks. And like unless they have a holiday, like that right there is what some of them will do. Now we all know at some point most of them do take breaks, but Rohan doesn't do that. At least that we know so far. But this guy is like this guy really put his heart and soul like into his work. And so right now they were like a spider on Hazamada, and we see Rohan actually grab it. Now to me that right there raised the first like red flag because who in the world would like actually pick up that big ass spider? And so right now he was saying how most people would be disgusted and and crush it or kill it. But apparently him being a manga artist, he actually wants to study it. And we even see him now wanting to draw it, and we even see him actually stabbing him with a pen because he wanted to see how long would he suffer before dying. And then we have Koji saying that that was cruel, and then we have Rohan losing it, and that right there raised a second flag. And so right now he was like going off on him, and so pretty much we have Koji apologizing to him, saying sorry, and that right there kind of like calming him down. And so right now he was like going to get a pen so that way he can give them this autograph. And so also he also wanted to like serve them tea. And so when he left, we have Koichi now kind of scared because obviously something was definitely not right with this guy because Koichi was like he got the feeling that he was dangerous, and that right there was like pretty true if we're being honest here. And so right now we see that he actually wanted to leave, but Hazamada, there we go. He was saying that not yet because he's been eyeing this envelope, and that right there contained the manuscript that he just finished. And so right now he actually wanted to look at it, and we have Koichi being a good guy here saying, that right there is not right. We shouldn't do that. But then we have Hazamada saying that this right here was like a trade secret because we get to see this before even the editor does. And so that right there was huge. And so we see now that when they open it, at first you think everything will be normal, but no, we see like this greenish aura, like coming from every page, and that right there was really pulling them in. And while this was happening, we see now that Rohan, he was still there, but of course he was hiding, and he saw all of this. And so apparently now when they saw this manuscript, because he had a feeling about that, he actually like made this trap where it would actually react to them. And so now we see that their body were like opening like a book or a magazine. And to me, like even though he is my favorite character, now hopefully I'm not the only one who feels this way, but seeing somebody's like body opening like this, like seeing like their face pulled back or like the part of their fingers pulled back, and all you see is like books and stuff like pages. To me, it was kind of creepy. Now, I'm not saying that I hate it or nothing, but in my opinion, it's cool, but it's creepy at the same time. But I was like definitely digging that. And so right now we see that Rohan, he was not wasting any time. We have him looking at Koichi's like history, his information, pretty much like learning all about him. He learned his name, his family, his sister, like all about that. And of course, he learned about stand users, Josuke, Jotaro, Joseph, like everyone. So pretty much he was getting all this new information, and he found this so fascinating, so entertaining. He actually wanted more. But when it came to Hazamada, this guy is a freaking cornball. Like we even see now that apparently his balls get sweaty. And we see now that apparently whenever he's in class and adjusting them, Rohan was like nothing would bring him more pleasure than someone actually catching him. So this guy is like something is definitely wrong with him. But at the same time, Rohan was like he's useless to him because there's no way no reader will like actually enjoy this. And so right now we see that once again Koichi here kind of like set Rohan off because he was saying how this guy is a genius and is such a good manga artist, that of course he would have no need to do this because apparently, he was like under the wrong impression that Rohan was like getting all the money and attention he wanted, but that's not the case. Why Rohan does this is because he actually wants someone to read it. He does not care about any money or attention. As long as someone, reads his manga, even if it's like one person, he will continue to do it. And that right there, I can definitely respect, but at the same time, his methods go a little bit too far. And we even see now how just like he can read someone's history, he can also adjust it because we have Koichi use his own stand, Reverb Act 2, and we see now that when he was like trying to attack Rohan, he was missing, and we see now that the reason that he was missing is because he had put in a little edit note where he cannot bring any form of any form of harm to Rohan. And so to me, that right there is genius. But at the same time, he was saying that right there, it's like all he will do because if he like makes any more changes or edits, his life will seem fake. Oh, and also that right there is definitely one thing Rohan, definitely looks down on. It's like anything fake. He wants that realness, that reality, because oh my God, I cannot believe that I almost forgot this. We got this completely disgusting scene early on in the episode where we have Rohan like licking that dead spider. That right there almost made me want to vomit because that was so damn nasty. And we see now that Hazamada actually vomited because of that. And honestly, no one could blame him because that was some sick shit. No one can deny that right now. And we see now how what's the name, Rohan, he was definitely interested in that agonizing face because that right there was a pure real reaction. But then when he did it again, but let out the rest of that vomit, it came off very fake, which is why he did not draw that. And so now we see that what Rohan wants to do, he will use Koichi's own memories to actually progress his manga to a higher level and make it even better because he is definitely about that realness and he wanted to take these real experiences and put it into his work, and that's probably why his series, really like does so freaking well. And so right now, we get a scene of him turn out a page from like Koichi's face, and then you see out of nowhere, like we see blood from it. So even though his body has its appearance, that right there is still painful, and that right there can cause real harm to the body. Because he was saying how by them becoming like a book, that right there does not harm them, but when he tears out pages, that right there obviously does. And so pretty much we see now that after all that, those two went back to normal and they were seeing how they actually had a pretty good time. So obviously he definitely did something where he changed their memories. And so obviously this guy is like pretty smart because if they definitely recalled all of this, then they would definitely tell, Josuke and Jotaro because I'm pretty sure he definitely read how powerful their stands are. And so now we see that the following day where Koichi went home, we see him now in the bathroom, and this guy lost like a lot of weight. And so right now he was like freaking out. And of course he knew that this right here would be like the work of an enemy stand. And so we see him now going to call Josuke, but when he left the bathroom, his memories of the recent events actually just like left his mind. So this stand is definitely, it's like pretty freaking powerful. And so, and also it was definitely kind of hilarious how his sister like actually ratted him out saying or talking to her friend, telling him that her brother was like wandering around in his underwear. But we see now that the following day he actually lost so much weight that it was impacting like his everyday life because he was saying how his shoes and like his bag felt a lot heavier than normal. And so right now in his mind he was thinking that like he was going to school, but in fact he was going to Rohan's house, which is in the opposite direction of the school. And so right now when he got there and realized what was like going on, he actually wanted to like go inside and thank him for yesterday, but he was saying how that right there probably wouldn't be a good idea because it was still early and he could be sleeping, but it seemed like his body had a mind of his own, and so pretty much his own body was contradicting what his mind was like thinking, because he had went in even though he was saying how it was a bad idea. And then we have Okuyasu and Josuke, actually following him because they saw how he was going in the wrong direction. And so right now they are definitely looking out for their friend here. And so we see now that when Koichi went in, we see Rohan hard at work, drawing frantically, because this guy was like going ham when it came to like making his manga. And so right now, when he saw Koichi, he was saying how we came there like right on time, and of course he was like happy to see him. And so pretty much that right there is where the episode ended off. And so right now, Koichi is in danger because he just walked willingly into a trap, but luckily we have Josuke and Okuyasu right on his tail. And so this episode, personally, I did like it a lot because we finally get to see my favorite character for this part. So that right there definitely got me hyped. But of course, let me know what you guys thought about this fantastic episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well, because as always, you guys know that right there really does help me out. But you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.